Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode of my TinkerCad Masterclass series. In this episode, you will learn how to align objects, how to duplicate objects, how to mirror objects, and then also how to hide objects. Let's say you have this house. Now, it's a good start. Like, if you have this house, it's a good start. But you might be kind of a little annoyed about how some of the stuff just isn't lined up and it's not symmetric. Now, what you could always do is go in and manually move everything. But that gets very tedious very, very quickly. TinkerCad has a tool to deal with this. That's the Align tool. So I'm going to ungroup this, and the first thing we're going to do is align the door. I'm going to take this block material, then I'm going to shift click the red house. I'm going to go to the Align tool. It's going to show up as all these dots. Now, these dots basically tell you where it's lining to. We want to align it to the middle of this block. So I'm going to hit the Align tool, and then it's aligned. Now, an interesting tip for if you want to take the objects and kind of make sure that they're both aligned to the center of themselves, what you can do is select the two objects if you like the distance that they're at apart, group them because you can group holes, and then you can align it, and then group the house and the two windows. Now the windows are aligned with the other windows. Okay, so let's say you're trying to make like a mini neighborhood and you're going to use like the same starter home, but you want to add some variety in it, like maybe one of the windows on the right and on the other the windows on the left, and it kind of changes somewhat randomly. One way of going about it would be copy and pasting it with Control C and Control V. That's a common key command that's used in most softwares. And then ungrouping it. Then ungrouping it all the way. And then just taking the window and sliding it over and just grouping it all. Now, while this works, you can see that process is a little complicated when there's a much, much easier solution. TinkerCad has a really easy tool for doing this, which is the mirror tool. Now, if I just have any object selected and have the mirror selected, I can just go over one of these arrows that denote the different axes of X, Y, and Z. And then when I hover over it, the axis will turn red, and then you'll get a little orange box or kind of orange shape of what the objects would look like if you actually went through with that, that process. So now I'm just going to flip it by hitting this axis. So that was a way easier than going through and unselecting everything. Now another thing is you can select multiple objects and mirror them all at once. Now, being that this object, both of them are facing on the inside, you really can't see it. So in order to do it, we're just going to revert that backwards. And then, now you can see a lot better how it kind of totally flips the objects. Okay, so let's say you're just working on the front of this house. However, you also have some cylinders in the way that are making it really hard to kind of work on it. And it's a little hard navigating your camera all the way in here just because you want to work on this one specific area. TinkerCad has a really great way of dealing with this. You go into this little object panel by clicking on the object. It might have been closed, but you can just open it back up. You can hit this hide button to hide the selected objects. Now this makes it look like you deleted it, because you kind of have in this exact situation. Now you can kind of bring them back by hitting this little icon at the top. So that way, you haven't actually deleted anything, and you can still work on everything. Thank you all for watching the second episode of my TinkerCad Masterclass video. I've been uploading them a couple days early onto my Patreon page if you want to watch them there. remember, if you like this video, please like and share it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Tell me why in the comments down below. And as always, keep on designing.